Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. And in fact, we are going to be talking about some pretty bright light, because on Saturday, we are having a new moon solar eclipse at 10 degrees of Taurus. So if you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you'd already know that the title of tonight's show is A New Day is Dawning. And that certainly is appropriate for a solar eclipse, isn't it? And yet, this is a very potent solar eclipse. And the reason why is that although some planets are in somewhat the same position as they were last week, the strength of some planets has just about tripled. They're much more powerful this week. And that is because this week, or let me say last week, there was only one planet at home in the sign it ruled, and that was Neptune in Pisces. So it was very strong. But under the solar eclipse we're having on Saturday in Taurus, there are two planets now that are at home in the sign they rule, and there is a third planet that is actually in its sign of exaltation. And that's why I would say that the solar eclipse is a momentous occasion, because it is an eclipse, and the effect of an eclipse lasts for about 6 months. And so any time in the next 6 months, a new day could dawn for you, for sure. And so it could do it in a couple of different ways. But first of all, we have to understand that this is a unique year because all 4 of the eclipses this year are only in the financial signs. There are 2 in Taurus, there's another 2 in Scorpio. And the first one this year is the one at 10 degrees of Taurus on Saturday, where the sun, the exalted moon, it's at its very best in Taurus, and Uranus are all conjuncting each other. 3 of these planets are in Taurus, and they are trining Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto is at the 29th degree of fate, but it is retrograde. We're going backward now. You see, it's not going to be leaving Capricorn, it's just going to be sort of traveling back and forward again. And so these 4 planets in Earth signs under the solar eclipse are also trining the sign of Virgo. And these 3 Earth signs rule the material houses, particularly Taurus. Taurus rules the second house of how you make your money and what you spend it on or invest it in. It is a fixed financial sign, a very hard worker, likes to get well paid, and likes to have nice things to show for it. So Taurus rules gourmet food and wine, and it rules high-priced real estate. It rules being very comfortable, and it also rules investments. So it rules the New York Stock Exchange, and it rules the countries of Germany and of Israel. And so this is a time when the things that Taurus represents could certainly be included in some sort of new day that can be dawning for you. And it would involve money in one way or another. All the eclipses this year are going to involve money. And so you want to be real careful how you handle your money or what you spend your money on. And try not to overspend either. But because Taurus rules the second house of how you make your money and what you spend it on, then we go to what Virgo rules. Virgo rules the 6th house of your actual job and of your health and your mental state of mind, because Virgo is a mental sign, and your service to others or occupations that are of service to others. And it also rules accounting and facts and details. So that's the 6th house, and it's a material house. And then Capricorn rules the 10th house of your career and your public reputation, and your retirement or any rewards that you earn over a long period of time. And so these are the material houses, the 2nd, the 6th, and the 10th. And in a traditional chart, that is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So those things are rather favorably aspected right now because the 4 planets, the 3 in Taurus, including the exalted moon, that certainly means a lot of people could be looking at high-priced real estate or thinking of a sort of expensive move, and that would be okay. That's sort of what the solar eclipse is all about. But there are other things going on. However, that exalted moon is one of the ones that is very powerful right now, even more powerful than the sun in Taurus, because the moon is exalted there. And so then we come to another 4 planets that are similar to where they were last week, and that's the 4 in Pisces, which is a healing water sign. And so Mars is there, and so is that Neptune, which is at home in the sign it rules. So it's the second really strong planet that we've got in the heavens under this solar eclipse. And also Venus and Jupiter are in Pisces as well. But this week, the planets have bunched up a little bit in Pisces, and in fact, Neptune is at 25 degrees of Pisces, and Venus and Jupiter are in their orbits are both at exactly the same degree. They are in perfect alignment. This is a very rare occurrence, and they are at 28 degrees of Pisces. Well, Neptune is at 25 degrees, and that is a number that reduces to 7. We reduce numbers by adding their digits, so 2 plus 5 equals 7. 7 is the number of Pisces, and it is the number of mystery. And it is conjuncting Venus and Jupiter at 28 degrees. 28 reduces to 10. We reduce that again. 1 plus 0 equals 1. The number of new beginnings. That's where the title of the show came from. A new day is dawning. But where is it getting started? I mean, the dawn is just the start of the sunrise. It's not the whole thing. And it's this dawn of a new day for all of us is getting started behind the scenes. That's what Pisces rules, things behind the scenes. So there can be something a little mysterious. Remember that Neptune is hit 25 degrees, which reduces to 7. There could be something a little mysterious going on behind the scenes, but because that Neptune is conjuncting these 2 wonderful planets, Venus and Jupiter, in close harmony, it can be something that represents a perfect partnership. It could be in your workplace. It could be a romantic partnership. It could be the kind of partnership that you form just when you're traveling with your fellow travelers. It could be happening as you work on a class project with somebody. But it is sort of a perfect partnership because it's very compatible, very agreeable. Not a thing wrong with it. And that's because Venus and Jupiter are conjuncting. But if it was something like an act of charity that was being done, or something pretty miraculous that was happening behind the scenes, that too is possible. And that's why I'm saying, if something miraculous happens somewhere in the world or to you, I wouldn't ask too many questions about how it happened. Just be thankful it did. And, you know, let it go, and it would make you very happy. And so it's not just that Neptune is at home in its sign and making it strong. It's who's in the neighborhood. Venus and Jupiter are, and Neptune is conjuncting them. This is a very wonderful time when a miracle really could happen. Certainly more than one, because Pisces is a double-bodied sign, so a couple of them could happen. So what we can see is that under the solar eclipse in Taurus, your new day could be dawning about your job, or about a new job, or about a move to a new home, or a new attitude about your health, or a new attitude and activities that you do which are of service to others. Or it can be that you have worked a long time somewhere and you are thinking of retiring, but you've already got something else in mind to do. Well, that's fine too. So there could be a lot of practical problem solving going on, and I can guarantee you that whatever you've got in mind, it's going to take money. And so either you've already earned it, or you're going to be inspired to work harder to earn it, because it can be very rewarding for you. I mean, that new day that's dawning is sure a lot better than yesterday. So it's going to be worth it. And so the added bonus is that not only can you do some practical problem solving, or you can increase your financial goals or your financial fortune, but there could also be a very quiet, somewhat discreet, and very pleasant partnership going on behind the scenes. And that's just the dawning of it. That's just the starting of it, but it could continue for the rest of your life. And it's because it's just so compatible. It's and if it involves some sort of a miracle, a mysterious miracle, just count yourself real lucky and enjoy that. But as an added bonus, there is a third planet that is exceptionally strong right now under this solar eclipse. And that's because Mercury has moved out of Taurus. It's not there anymore. And it has moved into Gemini. And Mercury rules Gemini. So it rules communication and easy transitional change. And it rules youth. And it rules short journeys. And it rules our neighborhoods. It rules our pals and buddies and casual things that we like to do. And it rules buying and selling. And all kinds of marketing and advertising. So that is an added bonus. The fact that Mercury is at home in the sign it rules, Gemini. And that can help you promote your ideas. That might help get you some sort of an advancement. It may just be that you need to let more people know about your good plans or ideas. So that's fine. Maybe you're just going to have to be out in the public eye more. Gemini rules the public. And the good thing about the strength of this, besides the fact that it's just a planet at home in the sign it rules, is that Saturn is in Aquarius and it's trining this Mercury. I mean, you can't go wrong. Because Saturn in Aquarius, first of all, Aquarius rules the future. So once again, the new day that's dawning is about your future. It isn't about your past. And since Saturn is such a planet of stability, it simply means that there can be very solid people that could be backing you up if you wanted to make an easy change, or you had some good ideas you'd like to talk to people about. You'd have tremendous backing on it right now. And the possibility of very agreeable partners. Because Saturn in Aquarius and Mercury in Gemini both trine the sign of Libra, which rules partnership. So I'm sorry I'm taking so long on this, but you know, it's not just any old solar eclipse. It is that there are so many other powerful things going on that can benefit you. That I hope you are looking forward in your future, and you can realize that yes, there is a new day dawning. Okay, it's right about now. That solar eclipse is on Saturday. The effect of the eclipse lasts at least for 6 months. So there are a variety of ways that you can make this work for you. So I hope you do. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Aries. Well, Aries, you know, you can be very involved with a financial matter. Possibly next week. You could be thinking about it right now. But the solar eclipse in Taurus is on Saturday. And those 3 planets in Taurus, the Sun, the Exalted Moon, and Uranus, are all conjuncting each other. That makes them really strong. And because the Moon is exalted there, it simply means that you could have your eyes on some high-priced real estate, Aries. Or you can be thinking about your investments. You might be very pleased if some of them have increased in value. And if they haven't, or you're wanting to make some changes, that would be something that you could work on pretty well, particularly say next week, right after the eclipse occurs, because it's going to happen on Saturday. And so you could have your mind either on buying something that's pretty expensive, and the nice thing about it is you may be able to afford it. In fact, it looks like you can afford it, Aries. So if I were you, I would go ahead and, really go over the figures. Make sure you've got the money all in the right place. Make sure you're looking at any tax liabilities if you sell something. And then if I were you, I would go ahead and realize, yes, a new day is dawning. You don't have to keep doing the same old thing. You can try new things. That's what a solar eclipse is all about. It's happening right in front of your sun sign. So I hope you take advantage of that. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Taurus. Well, congratulations! The new moon solar eclipse in your sign on Saturday is at 10 degrees. And so that's fairly early in your sign, which means that the sun is going to be there a while. And of course, it'll come up. It's already starting to conjunct, well, it is conjuncting the Exalted New Moon on Saturday. And then the moon will move on quickly because it only stays in a sign for 60 hours or 2.5 days. But the sun will still be there, and the sun will come up and get even closer to Uranus. And that is when I would say, Taurus, you could be involved in some sort of surprise. And that could be coming up next week, maybe the following weekend. But it would be some sort of surprise. It wouldn't be necessarily a bad surprise, but it will be a surprise. And I would say that since the 3 planets under the solar eclipse in your sign are trining Pluto at the 29th degree of Capricorn, and they're trining the sign of Virgo as well, that it has something to do with your work or your career or your health or your service to others. And this, because Uranus is the planet of sudden surprise. And so you have to sort of be prepared. I would sort of move slowly next week, Taurus. And if a surprise comes about, as long as you're not moving too quickly, you won't trip yourself up at all. And you'll be able to handle it a little bit more calmly, one way or the other. It doesn't have to be a bad surprise. You may think to yourself, oh, gee, this is a change. I didn't plan on this. Well, you ought to go home and think about how many wonderful things a change can open up for you, Taurus. I mean, you're the one with the solar eclipse in your sign. You are due to make a change. And a Taurus is a fixed sign. They don't change much. And so for something else surprising to happen, it might be a blessing in disguise for you, Taurus, because it might help you sort of get on to a new future or get on to something new. I think it will also involve some money, but you probably have the money or you know where to get it. And so I don't think that you're going to be looking at financial problems too much, simply because I think you're pretty comfortable. But there will be a surprise coming up. It's the kind of surprise that no matter how you react to it, it is going to work out to your benefit in the long run. And by long run, I mean just sometime in the next 6 months, it's really going to work out to your benefit. And so sometime during the summer or by next fall, you can quietly scratch your head and say, oh, I'm glad that happened. Because, gee, here I am doing something new. And you would love it, Taurus. There's nothing, I mean, Taurus is such a hard worker. Nobody can beat them. And they're very reliable. And, you don't have to stay stuck in a rut, Taurus. This is a time. This is a solar eclipse. There's going to be another eclipse in your sign by November. In fact, it's going to happen on Election Day. And it is a total lunar eclipse. And so that is when there's going to be perhaps even a bigger change. And right now, if a surprise occurs, as I said, it can work to your benefit sometime in the next 6 months. So, you know, look for the silver lining, Taurus, because it's really there. And it might just take you a little while to adjust to a change. But a new day is dawning for everybody. And the only planet that is challenging your sign at all is Saturn, which is in Aquarius, a fixed sign, ruling the future, and it is squaring the 3 planets in your sign. Well, it's been doing that for 2 years, and it's going to stop doing that by December. And so that'll be over for you. And so next year is definitely going to be less challenging than this year, or even last year. And so that Saturn in Aquarius squaring the planets in your sign simply mean that there will be some sort of drag out delays that you'll have to put up with for the next 6 months. And if you know that in advance, maybe you could just develop a little patience about that and realize that, you know, you don't have to be first in line. Besides, a Taurus likes to do things well, and sometimes that does take delay. It takes longer to do it right. And that's something that a Taurus doesn't mind. And so I remember, it'll be a blessing in disguise, whatever the surprise is. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Gemini. Remember I said that the planets this week are a lot stronger than they were last week because there are more that are at home in the sign they rule, or there's the exalted moon that's in Taurus under the solar eclipse. Well, Mercury has just moved into your sign, Gemini. It is at 1 degree in your sign. It's going to be there for a while. And it is trining that Saturn in Aquarius, and together those 2 planets are trining the sign of a Libra as well. So you're certainly well aspected to sort of pick up some new partners as you go on in your life, Gemini. Or there can be some sort of change, or maybe you can be just getting together with your neighbors or your brothers or your sisters this summer and just having a good time. And that somehow it will casual things now, since Mercury is now in your sign, casual conversations can lead to bigger things that would affect your future very favorably. And either people you've known a long time or people who are pretty high up in organizations can be very attracted to you, particularly if you speak up a little bit. You let people know, you know, don't be shy, Gemini. Let people know what you think. You're going to be surprised at the people that are really interested in that. They are the people that have been around a long time, and they're interested in new ideas, which could be yours. And so you need to really have a lot of confidence and go forward. You pretty much have nothing to lose because behind the scenes there is a solar eclipse happening in your life, and it involves money. And that is because the sun, the exalted new moon, and Uranus are all in Taurus right behind your sun sign. And they are being beautifully aspected. They're being trined by Pluto. So I would say there is a financial matter. There could be something that you're involved with that has to do with buying and selling. And so that would be fine too. The effect of whatever is happening in the background of your life is going to take the next 6 months. And so we're going into, you know, this is spring. We're going into summer and into early fall. And so there can be a financial matter that you would want to pay attention to. Excuse me. But I don't think it's going to hurt you. There may be a delay in something, but I don't think it's going to hurt you. And in fact, you are somewhat aspected somehow, perhaps miraculously, to have a little more money at your disposal behind the scenes. There could be more money available. And maybe it's from selling something of yours. that is worth a lot. Maybe this would be a good time to just have some extra cash and put it away. I mean, pretty soon it's going to take a wheelbarrow of cash to go to the grocery store because inflation is so high. I mean, it's not funny. So, Gemini, you are stronger than you think right now. And the people that are interested in you are very serious people. And they want to hear what you have to say. So don't be shy. Speak up. Or write it down. Or get prepared to present it to somebody. Because they're really going to be interested. I think they're going to like what you have to say too. And that could lead to a very nice partnership of some sort. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Cancer. This is a time when I think that you can be very blessed, Cancer. How could you not be? Because the 4 planets in Pisces are all trining your sun. But they have moved a little bit, and they are much stronger this week than they were last week. Mars is still in Pisces, urging you to keep your defenses up because danger lurks in hidden places. It's not too easy to find the danger. That's why you need to keep your defenses up and be cautious. But Neptune, which is at home in the sign it rules, so it's very powerful in Pisces, is at 25 degrees, which reduces to 7 the number of mystery. But it trines your sun, so there could be a little mystery, a little something mysterious happening that could resemble a miracle in your life, Cancer. And it may be a miracle that involves a wonderful partner or a wonderful partnership of some sort. It could be at work, it could be in a class, it could be a romantic partnership, it could be something that lasts the rest of your life. And that is because that Neptune is conjuncting Venus and Jupiter, which are in perfect alignment, also in Pisces at 28 degrees. And 28 reduces to 10, which reduces to 1. The number of new beginnings. A new day is dawning for you, Cancer. And you're going to love it because it starts with the dawn. Okay, the dawn is now. Or the dawn is certainly by the time the eclipse hits this weekend. Actually, it can be right now because these planets are in Pisces. And so, you know, after the dawn, what happens with the light? It just gets, it softly and quietly gets lighter and lighter and lighter. And pretty soon you can just see everything. Well, Cancer, it's like some sort of a mystery that, okay, you don't know how something happens, but it does. It could be very nice for you. And it will unfold like a dream unfolds. Pisces rules dreams. But it's all going to be real, Cancer. So I would say there is a possibility that a dream is about to come true for you. And you know, most people have more than one dream. But if there is a dream you've had for a long time, it just might start to come true because a new day is dawning. And it's for you, Cancer. Because all those planets in Pisces, particularly under this very rare occurrence when Venus and Jupiter are exactly conjunct, along with the ruler of the sign, Pisces, you're going to learn some answers to things behind the scenes in one way or another. In other words, if anybody has been doing anything they shouldn't have been doing, you'll find out about it. And still, you may be able to do something about it. But remember, quietly. Pisces is a quiet sign. But you can resolve something, and that can help you make a dream come true, too. So, Cancer, I would say you're heading into calm water. And it would have been a long time coming. But I think you're going to love it. And so, when that new day begins to dawn, just remember, there is more and more and more light going to be coming into you. Now, it could be what we call enlightenment, meaning that you're able to absorb some truth or recognize things that you never really quite understood before, and things just are going to settle into place. So you're very lucky right now, Cancer. Cancer rules some countries, ours included. It rules America. This is really good for America. It's also very good for Ukraine. Ukraine is ruled by Cancer, and Canada. So maybe we can all calmly get on with our lives. But it's really going to benefit you. And a Cancer likes to make sure that things are okay, that their feelings are stabilized, that they don't have to worry and they don't have to be too stressed out. And that's what's coming. This new day that's dawning is almost stress-free, Cancer. So don't you worry about it. Just enjoy. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is a time when I think you have to be a little bit on high alert, Leo. And the reason why is because the solar eclipse in Taurus, along with, so the sun, the exalted moon, and Uranus, remember which rules sudden surprising change, are all squaring your sun. And also Saturn in Aquarius is opposing your sun. So that's 4 planets in fixed signs, one of which is a financial sign, Taurus, and they are all in harsh aspect to your sun sign, Leo. So I would say at the very least, something expensive is coming up. You know, either you owe more taxes, I hope that's not true, or else you may want to make some sort of a move, but it can get to be pretty pricey, a little more expensive than you thought it would be. Or it just can be that your future is appearing somewhat uncertain, simply because there can be long delays about a future plan, or it can be that people's minds and goals have changed, and in response to whatever the financial shortfalls are in the world, and believe me, there are financial shortfalls right now, people are having to adjust their budgets. And that could affect you, Leo. So this is a time when, if I were you, I would try to conserve my financial resources. You may need more money. If you're planning to buy a really nice house, you might need more money. But if you, for instance, had a change in your job position, or there was a layoff at the company that you work for, you might have to adjust your budget and, you know, shrink it a little bit. Now maybe you've got all the money in the world and it doesn't matter, but still, I wouldn't be going around wasting money right now. And also, some of your investments, Taurus rules investments. Remember, it's squaring your sun sign. Some of your investments could be losing in value right now. Now, this can be worldwide. It's not just happening to you, Leo. It's happening to a lot of people. But you would have to pay a little closer attention to your finances and the value of things. And you may have to put a deadline out a little further in the future and sort of embrace some delays before you can get something accomplished. And that could be due to circumstances beyond your control. You know, we don't all control our own fate because there is a new day dawning right now. And I think the one thing that's got to dawn on all of us is that we're all a little bit more on our own. Whenever there is a major war anywhere, psychologically it can threaten all of us. And even though we may be generous in heart and want to help those less fortunate, We certainly don't want to be the next target. And so, you know, this is a time for people to sort of batten down the hatches and realize a new day is dawning. But it might be a new day where we have to be more cautious and we have to hold on to what's dear to us and readjust things. If you are a Leo who is in debt, you could feel it now. And for the whole next 6 months, the first priority should be for you to pay off your bills. Because it could get worse before it gets better if you don't do that. So just be careful, Leo. And Jupiter is coming in a couple of weeks. Jupiter is coming into Aries, and it will trine your sun until October. So things really are going to get better for you, Leo. And you're going to have opportunities to make new starts. And you should accept them. You should just say yes. So that's nice. So your life is going to expand. But don't let the bills expand. You got to pay the bills off. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time when, boy, you can be lucky, and actually maybe there's some more money coming your way, Virgo. And the reason why is that the solar eclipse in Taurus, along with the exalted moon and Uranus in Taurus, all three of those planets are trining your sun, and so is Pluto at the 29th degree of Capricorn, but it's retrograde. These 4 planets that are all trining your sun are doing you a world of good, Virgo, because it just means that people who are in charge of budgets, that would be people in top management that are represented by Pluto in Capricorn, now that that planet has gone retrograde, they are going to be reviewing their budgets and perhaps cutting them back. But Virgo, they're not going to cut you back. Because Virgos are so conscientious, they just get in there and work and work and work and work. And no company ever wants to let anybody go like that. Mainly because, Virgo, have you noticed that sometimes you get stuck with more work than you should have? In other words, you end up doing your job and the person next to you as well? That happens. Other people can take advantage of the fact that you like to be of service to others. But, you know, you take pride in that. And you're not going to desert your own values. You're going to uphold them. And so I think that's the price you pay for being so dutiful. But then there's an awful lot of people that respect you for that. So I think that you are going to have a chance to realize an increase in your investments. That would be the 3 planets in Taurus trining your sun. And, the value of something's going to go up, which is going to be good for you. And then there is a possibility that investments that you have made for your retirement are going to be somewhat solid. And if there are budget cuts, it might be, first of all, that you're not cut, but that you may have your workload increase because somebody else is cut, and you do have to do some of their work, including your own, until things get better. You know, we all have to adjust to financial conditions that we are not in control of. And we just have to adjust. And so you'll be realistic and practical, and you will adjust, Virgo. So I don't think you have anything to worry about. This is a good solar eclipse for you. A new day is dawning. I think you're going to love it. I also think you're going to be a little busier than you think. But just stay healthy. And I think that you're going to be very needed. If you say got a promotion, it would be because they need you. And so that may mean that there's more demand upon you. But a Virgo is very good at doing their duty. And for that reason, You are just very well respected and admired, Virgo. And I know I have to tell you this because Virgo rules modesty. Virgos never think they're good enough, but a lot of other people do think that. So you enjoy this solar eclipse. I think it's going to be good to you. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time when the air signs are accented favorably, because remember I told you there's more planets that are stronger now. And one of them is Mercury, which has just gone into Gemini, and it is trining your sun, Libra, which means that you can have young people around you, and you might like that a whole bunch. Or it might be that you're thinking of taking a short trip, or you're doing some buying and selling, or perhaps you're going to take on a part-time job. Whether you are a volunteer or whether you're getting paid for it, it can get you more out in the public eye, and that would be really good for you, Libra. You become more popular, and Libras are excellent when they're around other people. They really know how to mix and mingle and be quite charming to a lot of different people. So you should not be staying home alone, Libra. You should be out with them. And so you may be, because that Mercury in Gemini is trining your sun now, but so is Saturn in Aquarius, which rules the future. And so it looks to me like you might be meeting some new people, but there's also going to be some people around who have been solidly backing you, or who have been very interested in you, and they really know what they're doing, and they are somewhat attracted to you. And by somewhat attracted, I mean that they are attracted to you, but they may have been waiting to see what you were going to do first. And so I'm just urging you, Libra, under these very favorable aspects in the air signs, and yours is an air sign, get out in the public eye a little bit more. Even if you have to take yourself to lunch, do it, because it'll help you meet people. And not everyone in life is as charming as you are, Libra. So the world could use a little time to talk to you, because you're pretty good at charming people. I don't even know if you're conscious of the fact that you're pretty good at that, but you are. You're a people pleaser. And so that's what you should do, is be out in the public eye more, because it verifies your talent. And we build self-confidence when we see that we're being accepted. Well, you can't get that at home. You have to go out and be accepted. So I hope you do, Libra. This is a good time for you. But it does mean you got to get out and mix and mingle a little bit more. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time when I think that you are, on the one hand, going to be very blessed by a very compatible partnership, or by some sort of miraculous way of handling a problem that requires justice, but you can sort of do it in exactly the right way. Your sign rules justice. And the 4 planets in Pisces, which are Mars, your own ruler, and Venus, and Neptune, and Jupiter, are all trining your sun. But the 3 big ones are that Neptune, Venus, and Jupiter are all conjuncting in Pisces, and they are trining your sun and the Cancer sun. In a once-in-a-lifetime conjunction, which is Venus and Jupiter at the same degree in perfect alignment, and conjuncting Neptune as well. So this is a time when a miracle could happen, Scorpio. And if there's a little element of mystery about it, well, I would not ask too many questions, because whatever is coming your way, it could be miraculous, but it also could be quiet and relaxing and very harmonious. and it could last a lifetime. And, you know, in this uncertain world where we are looking at war, our feelings really matter. And it's important to be with people that make you feel whole or complete or at home somehow. Home in your heart. And if you ever find somebody like that, Scorpio, boy, now is the right time for that miracle to happen. And if it does, it could almost save your life. Because we really don't live for ourselves. No matter how successful we are in a material sense, you know, the heart needs to join other hearts. What good is it if it's just beating by itself? You know, love must be shared. And this is your chance, Scorpio. So don't turn your back on something, even if it's a little mysterious, you don't quite understand the whole thing. If there's somebody wonderful coming your way, do not run. Just stand still. Because it's aspected to really be quite wonderful for you. And so at the same time, that eclipse on Saturday with 3 planets in Taurus. Okay, the Pisces planets relate to your relationships and your feelings, which could be sublime. So that's really good. But the solar eclipse in Taurus, with 3 planets opposing your sun sign, and Saturn in Aquarius squaring your sun sign, simply means that there can be a real fluctuation in the value of your investments. Okay, well that's just number 1. The other thing that besides the fluctuation in values could be that circumstances beyond your control are causing problems with your taxes and problems with your plans for the future. And you're not causing it. But, you know, not everyone knows what they're doing right now, Scorpio. And that's why it's really important for you to watch where your money is and what it's doing yourself. Keep on top of it. Because if nothing else, you need to have more money. Because I think that your heart is sort of going to overflow in this new day that's dawning. And that might take more money, but mostly it's just going to live on love, and it's headed your way. Congratulations. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius. The planets are starting to build up a little bit in mutable signs now, and yours is a mutable sign. And there's not a lot of planets in fire signs. And so now what we're seeing is there are 4 planets in Pisces: Mars, Venus, Neptune, and Jupiter, which are all squaring your sun. They're very good planets, except for Mars. They're very good planets in Pisces. But they aren't quite fitting into your lifestyle as nicely as you would like, Sagittarius. And then Mercury is now in Gemini. It's only at 1 degree, so it's going to be in Gemini for a while, and it opposes your sun. Okay, so you're beginning to see, aren't you, Sagittarius, that if a new day is going to be dawning for you, there could be a few little blips in it, or challenges, or things you have to overcome before your life can expand. But you don't have to wait too much longer for it to expand, because Jupiter is going to go into Aries in May, and it will trine your sun. There is the possibility, Sagittarius, of a move coming up for you. Or it can be that somebody may visit you and sort of move in for a while. Or you could visit them and do the same thing. in your travels. Or it can be that, if nothing else, the office that you have has got to be shared with somebody else now, when it was just yours alone. Companies, since Pluto is retrograde in Capricorn now, companies are cutting back. They have to, because it's such an unstable financial situation in the world now. And it isn't all just because of a war that's half a world away from us. It is because there's a lot of people that are in too much debt. And that includes whole countries. And on top of that, inflation is just, every dollar you get is worth less and less and less as inflation goes higher and higher and higher. So isn't that frustrating, Sagittarius? It's like you don't have control of your own life. Well, so there are a lot of things that you don't control, but when Jupiter comes into Aries and trines your sun, you are going to get a wonderful opportunity for a new day to dawn. It just isn't here at the moment, but it's coming, Sagittarius. That's the thing to think about. And also, since a new day is dawning and there can be new opportunities coming your way in May and in June, throughout the whole summer, as long as Jupiter is in Aries, it'll be trining your sun, and it's going to be there from the middle of May until October. You're actually going to have a great summer, Sagittarius. Although I think you don't quite believe that at the moment, but you are going to have a good summer. And it could be because you're doing something new, because a new day is dawning. It's just, you are one person that it's sort of in the pre-dawn stage now. It hasn't quite gotten to the dawn yet, but it's going to. And, you know, a month from now, things are going to be great. So be patient is what I'm saying, Sagittarius. I would say that people who are needing to run around and rush, they may not actually be accomplishing too much right now. That solar eclipse is in a fixed sign. Fixed signs never rush. They just sort of stay on target, and they don't let anything stop them. But they're not necessarily in a rush. It's because they want to succeed. And so just wait a little bit, Sagittarius. It's pre-dawn right now, but the new day that's dawning will be getting here for you by next month. And so just hold that thought. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time when I think that you can, just like Virgo, you can be very blessed by this Taurus solar eclipse on Saturday, because the sun, the exalted moon, and Uranus are all in Taurus, trining your sun, where you have Pluto at the 29th degree, and it is the only retrograde planet now. It just went retrograde, so it's coming backward in your sign now, going over things. And because yours is a business sign, it simply means that some business and government agencies or institutions can be really looking over their budgets, and they're sort of wondering how they're going to be able to afford everything, and they will come to the conclusion, and maybe they already have, that they can't afford everything they're doing, or they can't afford everything they've been planning. So there could be quite a few adjustments in big budgets that people weren't counting on, including the people that run the budgets. They weren't counting on it either. But a Capricorn, yours is this really steady sign. And it looks to me like financially you are going to benefit from this solar eclipse. And so there can be more money coming your way, or it can be that something that you own is worth more. It's gone up in value. That would be wonderful. It's nice just to have an increase in your assets. Or it can be that, on the other hand, you want to take an expensive trip. Well, you can probably afford it, Capricorn. Why don't you do it? Because it can be that other matters are not in your control, And so you may as well take a time out and sort of relax and enjoy yourself. And if you can afford a little trip, whether it's a weekend trip or a month's trip somewhere or a cruise or whatever, why don't you go ahead and do it? You won't have missed much. The real value of your investments is still going to increase. Maybe not a lot, but it will increase, not decrease. And on top of that, maybe you need a break. Maybe you just need to take a break. Capricorns are very dutiful, just like Virgos are. But there just comes a time when if the new day is dawning, then maybe the thing you ought to do, Capricorn, is recharge your batteries. By doing the same thing over and over and over again, you can get run down. And you can sort of lose your divine spirit or your enthusiasm. Why not take a break and recharge a little bit? I think you can afford to do that. And that is a way of you, it is a way of you rejuvenating. And sure, you're going to live a long time, Capricorn, but we could all use a little rejuvenation after this terrible pandemic we've been through, don't you think? So if I were you, I would just take a nice trip. And if it costs a few dollars and you've got them, then go right ahead and do it. That way you will come back rested and inspired. And I don't think you will have lost anything except your worries. Because a new day is dawning for everybody. You just need to take a break and let it happen. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is a time when I think that there are going to be people that are sort of coming to your aid, Aquarius. And the reason why is that, yes, Saturn is in your sign. But now we have another planet in an air sign, and that is Mercury in Gemini, which is trining your sun. That is wonderful. It means that despite some hefty financial challenges that you can be facing right now, since the Taurus solar eclipse, along with the exalted moon and Uranus in Taurus, are all squaring your sun, where you have Saturn, Mercury now is supporting that Saturn, and it simply means that you would have the opportunity to take a short trip or change the way you're doing something in your life a little bit, and that would be to sort of ease the pressure of it. In other words, maybe you're thinking of going from a full-time job to just a part-time job. Well, fine. Why don't you give that a try, Aquarius? Gemini rules part-time or temporary work. So the other side of the coin is, if you already have a job but you want to make more money to pay down your bills, maybe you could just get a one-day-a-week job as a second job somewhere and use that extra money to pay your bills. There is also the possibility, since all the planets in Taurus are squaring that Saturn in your sign, that there really will be a change in the value of your investments. And it will tend to be quite a challenging change. And so you really need to keep, it can be due to circumstances beyond your control, Aquarius. I'm not saying that's your fault at all. It's the reverse. You're the poor victim of things you can't control that could diminish the value of your assets. But you can't do anything about it. And that's because if companies and agencies can see they've got to cut back on their budgets because they might have too much debt, what do you think normal people should be doing if they have debt? They should be cutting back too and paying off that debt. But it's hard to do when the value of your investments is going down instead of up. So Aquarius, you could be thinking that there is no new day dawning in your life, but that's not true. Not with that Mercury in Gemini trining your sun. First of all, it would make you more popular. And secondly, it means that you can be more in touch with your family, your brothers and sisters, your friends, your neighborhood pals. Summer's coming. You could really enjoy the company of other people, just a little by little. And you could do a lot of things this summer that don't cost money. I know that lots of people can join together in potluck suppers, or just going to parks and relaxing and playing games. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, it costs almost nothing to do that, but it's a lot of fun and no pressure on anybody. So, Aquarius, you know, this new day that's dawning, the dawn might come a little slow for you, but it'll still get here. And it might come through casual things. Not great big things, but casual things with other people, sort of neighborly things. That could be quite comforting to you. So you also are just going to need some more money in one way or another. It might be to pay taxes. Particularly if you sell something, you're going to owe a fortune in taxes. So think carefully about your money before you decide what to do, Aquarius. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time, Pisces, which if you never believed in divine intervention, you ought to believe in it now. Because Neptune is your own ruler. It is at 25 degrees, which reduces to 7. The number of mystery, which is the number of your sign, Pisces, which means something mysterious is going on in your life, Pisces. It's either happening to you, and you don't quite know how it's happening, but it is, or else you're deciding to do something on your own that could solve a mystery, or could just be mysterious because you're not going to tell anybody how you did it. You're just going to do it, but not tell anybody how you did it. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. It may be that you don't have anything to hide, but, you know, it's like these cooks who cook wonderful food, but they'll never give you the recipe because they don't want you to have it. It can be something like that, where you're deciding to do something and you just don't want anybody else knowing about it. So this is a good time, Pisces, for you to be discreet, or sort of low-key, or quiet about something. But that something represents a new day that is dawning for you, Pisces. And there is just no mistake about it. And as long as you don't succumb to sort of going the wrong way, because Mars is in your sign as well, so you do have to resist temptation, you, on the other hand, can have some sort of divine intervention that comes into your life, and it could represent a perfect partner. It could be the start of a new day, and that new day could last for the rest of your life. And it would just be one long blessing. And it would be yours. So Pisces, so I'm talking about something that most people would say was sort of lucky, but I don't think there's any luck connected to it. I think it's sort of like God means it to happen, so it will. And it's really good for you. That's what I mean by divine intervention. Sort of coming from above. But it's exactly the right thing for you, Pisces. So I hope that you live up to doing your very best. There is a possibility in any Pisces to sort of have a renewed spirit in them. And this renewed spirit simply wants to rise higher and higher and higher and do better and better and better. And so that can happen for you, Pisces. In fact, I think it's just about guaranteed. So enjoy that. If you find somebody that just makes you very happy in a quiet way, don't ever let them go. In a way, they'll be your lifeline for happiness and fulfillment. So stick with them. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show and read our blog on our website, starborninstitute.org, or if you would like to subscribe to it on my Karen Campbell YouTube channel, I'd be happy to send it to you and your friends every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Until then, I'll see you next week. Bye.